Hello and welcome back to the second round of the Disc Revolution Aviary Fools 2024 presented by Discmania. My name is Josh Rosa. I'm the TD for this event. I've also got Zach and Greg here, and we're going to be talking about the Aviary Disc Golf Course. So right now we're going to be following the lead card for the round two. This is hole 5, creek on the left, OB on the right. Green flagged area is casual relief, so if you land on the side of the hill and you don't want to break your ankles, you can go down to the drop zone with no penalty. Otherwise, this is just a standard right hand, backhand hyzer, up and around, and get into the circle for your birdie putt.
Alright, Cat's here, coming to you with some extra color commentary as well. I was not able to get Zach on commentary, but we've got a fun card here with the lead card with Joe Rovere and Alex from the feature card.
Looks like the flags are down right now for Joe's opening drive.
Yep, the wind went down a little bit.
For round one, Joe shot minus 11. He had one bogey, but he had a very impressive 10 birdie streak going on and picked up a birdie at the end to finish up his round. Second place also, or excuse me, he was tied for first place, was Alex Krause. So him and Joe both went into this at minus 11. Alex won the locals here, again with Team Quick Discs, going with the right hand backhand, going around and trying to find his way into circle 1 for that birdie putt. From the looks of it, he has basically parked himself. Next up on the tee is going to be Jerome Knott. He's tied for third place, shot a minus 9. He also had himself the ace on hole 14. Jerome got a little wider right than he would have liked. Next up, also shooting minus 9, tied third, is Jack Peterson.
Jack is a local guy from the Denver area. I had filmed him in some of the fly green flexes.
And then rounding out our lead card is going to be Anthony Bodanza, shooting a minus 8.
Anthony, one of my good friends.
So hole 5 is not the most difficult of holes. The creek does come into play, especially if you're left-handed or if you do a right-hand forehand. Looks like Anthony might have ended up getting into the creek.
Anthony's disc is in the water.
Yeah, unfortunately you can actually see Anthony's disc in the water. If you look closely and pause the video, he did end up going back and getting that after the round though.
His upshot didn't get too far, so he's got to go again, unfortunately.
Yeah, this scrub oak just swallows all your discs.
And just being down by that tree line does not give you a whole lot of stuff. As you saw, he hit the tree, and basically it's his turn to go again. So really not optimal start for him.
No, it wasn't the best start. Alright, here's Joe.
Joe lining up his birdie putt and just comes a little bit short.
Alright, now here's Jack lining up his birdie putt. Hits the pole. Here's Anthony.
Fortunate miss by Anthony. I think we might have missed a shot, as that was just a par for Jerome. And Joe knocks down his par, and we're off to hole 6. Unfortunately for Anthony, that was a 7. Moving on to hole 6. Again, 304 feet, par 3. Got the one tree right in the middle that you want to miss. Guardian trees on the right. Being off on the left side, creek doesn't come into play, but you do draw dead pretty quickly with all the coverage. So, ideal shot is just right down the middle, miss the trees, and park it.
Miss the trees is the key. All right, up first we got Alex.
Alex unfortunately catches trees on the left. It's going to be a tough upshot to get up and down for par.
Now let's see if Joe can go through those trees.
Gets a little favorable kick from the tree.
Yep. Here's Jerome.
Jerome looks a little wide right. He can get through the trees. Maybe it'll kick back over. No.
All right, let's see what Jack can do.
Didn't look like Jack's tried to flip up enough, or did not flip up for him.
Last but not least, Bodanza. I believe he's throwing his Marvel putter.
Unfortunately, it looks like same thing with Anthony, although he does get a little bit of a flip, but not enough. Back in that left side area where it's a little treacherous. See Alex trying to do the stretch out forehand flick.
He does very nicely.
Jack also in that back kind of cabbage area. Just enough to be annoying. Great step putt. Comes up just a little short. Good bid by Anthony. Jerome's dealing with the guardian shrubs. Has to kind of stretch out. Lays out. Just barely misses.
Yep.
Alex lining up. And has the unfortunate spit out. So he'll take his, I believe, first bogey of the event. Joe with the birdie.
And the rest of these guys are their cleanups.
Hole 7, we have the trees on the right. Kind of makes for a very narrow passage. On the left is a little bit more open. If you want to do a right hand flick or left hand backhand, you might get some good skip. There is a little bit of dirt here that kind of eats up the skips. The main thing is just avoid the trees and don't go long into the creek.
All right, we got Joe stepping up here first after that drop-in birdie.
Joe does turnover, hits second available, kicks right. Should be able to get up and down from there. Jerome lining up the right-hand forehand, going to take that left gap. Gets a little lucky bounce from the trees.
Now here's Jack. Going for a similar forehand route. Maybe a flex.
Beautiful.
Right down the middle. And up steps Anthony.
Anthony takes that left gap, catches some trees. This is Alex. Ooh.
He somehow gets through all the trees.
Sorry, what gap was that?
I don't know where he went, but he is up there by the pin.
So with the upshot, runs a little long. Anthony nestles himself right where he needs to.
Here's Alex from that far right side.
Just a little short for Alex.
Hits the cage.
So Jack is the one that had the one that flew all the way through. He's going to knock himself down, potentially a birdie.
Yeah, being that close, you can't miss. You shouldn't miss. Yeah, Jack is that birdie. There's Jerome.
Jerome's got a little bit of an awkward lie, but he knocks down his birdie as well. Joe's not going to bogey this hole twice in a row.
He bogeyed it in the first round, and that made him mad. And there's Anthony with his pickup par. Thank you, thank you.
Hole 8, kind of a shorty hole. Well, these are all kind of shorty holes, but right gap has a little bit of a pocket that'll take you right to the basket. Left side's got a lot more tree coverage, not as much of a gap there. And then right off the tee, there's a tree that's just right perfectly in the middle that gets in your head. So you have to pick your gap, left or right. Jerome's going to take the right side, gets a little tree love, knocks him down.
Looks like Jack's lining up for the same, the right side.
Jack takes that path, puts himself right underneath the basket,
Skips right behind it. Here's Joe.
Joe puts himself in the drop-in position.
Right up to it. Another birdie.
This is definitely a left-hander, backhanded nightmare hole, because you have to like get a turnover to go around. But for the righties, it's just a perfect thread down the middle kind of shot. Fades right into where you need it to go.
Yep, and Anthony landed it right behind the basket.
Alex might be a little early, but should be in the circle.
Wow.
Nice putt by Jerome. Gets himself the bird.
That was a long putt.
Unfortunate miss by Alex on the left side.
Here's Jack.
Jack knocks down his birdie putt.
Yep. Good bird.
Anthony with a little bit of an awkward stance and trees, but he gets his birdie putt. Joe knocks down yet again another bird. And Alex cleans up his par. One of the easier holes for sure. Hole 9 is 185 feet, par 3. There's a path off to the left. There's a path off to the right that's kind of there, but you have to kind of get lucky with the seeing eye disc. Again, you also don't want to go too far because creek does come into play pretty quickly.
I did not get the opening of this drive. This tee pad is tight and we were all crammed in there, but Jerome puts it right behind the basket, unfortunately underneath that tree.
Like Jack is lining up the forehand.
Swings it out wide and right into the basket. Couldn't ask for anything better. Now here's Joe with his Toro. Also in circle 1. And Anthony, I believe he has a zone.
Like it might be a little wide right, but should be a putt.
Now we got Alex here with the forehand as well.
A little deeper than he wanted.
Yeah, it hangs it a little straighter, and he's right there at the bank. Unfortunate.
And it's not an easy putt because if you go too far back again, you're going to find OB into the creek.
Yeah.
Jerome with a very unfortunate lie and very difficult lie.
Very awkward stance.
It's a good bid.
Does the best he could.
Alex for his birdie. Comes up just a little short.
Got to aim a little higher for those. Now here's Joe.
Joe knocks down his bird.
Nice putt.
Jack knocks down his bird. And the rest should clean up their pars.
That they do.
Hole 10, 196 feet, par 3. The gap is going to be on the right side. Left side, kind of guarded by a bunch of trees. Right side has some guardian trees, but not as much. You've also got to contend with hole 11's tee box. It's got a fence line around it to protect those people.
Yep,
Aw.
Anthony found a new friend and he just ran away.
So right now we have a little bit of downtime because as you can see there's players on hole 11 that they need to wait for them to tee off first.
I can do the double every time, but never the triple.
So Jack is showing off his skills.
Yeah, there were a few holes that we had backups on.
Ooh,
Skips
right, it almost skipped in the bucket.
so close.
Another close skipper. Though he might have a really obstructed putt.
Safe, right? Yeah.
There's Jerome.
This looks a little too left.
Yeah, a little stable disc.
The good part about this hole is that there's also some soft sand over there, so discs might come to a stop a little bit quickly.
There's Anthony coming up a little short.
Alex is a little bit more left than he'd like, but that should be an easy enough putt. Wow.
Yeah, Jerome barely landed it bounds. Gives it a bid. He should be in for par. Now here's Anthony. Drains it.
Nice putt.
Great
Ooh.
putt.
That's what you like to see. Now here's Joe with a branch in his way.
Joe's basically like, what branch?
Nice birdie, Joe.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Alex would clean up.
Good putt by Jack to get his birdie. And good par save by Jerome. Right here is the B that you want to miss coming off the tee. Coming right down the middle of the fairway on the right side where there's the white tape, you can see the Mando tree. Players have to play left of that. So basically you want to throw something that's going to be nice and straight, just goes right up the fairway and nestles near or around these trees. The trees do come into play straight off the tee, so it's a really guarded basket. There is OB on the left with the creek, but you have to find that pretty far.
Up first is Jack.
Jack is just going right up the middle and parks it. Joe's also going up the middle, maybe a little bit more left, but definitely within his range.
Now for Anthony.
Anthony's looked like it just came out lower. He's got a little bit more meat on the bone than he would like. It's like Alex is lining up the forehand. He's going to finish righter.
Yep. And
And
who's that
almost
in the
takes out the
background?
cameraman. Good feed, Zach.
That's Zach. So this is actually came really close to hitting him. And then here's all the footage from Zach.
One almost took me out. That one landed right here. Jesus. That one came right at me. What a shot.
Yeah, and then Jerome was right after it.
Jumped that one.
And you saw where Jerome landed it at. Here's his drive.
So in case you couldn't tell, spoiler alert, Jerome's going to park it.
Wow, nice.
Barely misses the tree.
Anthony for birdie. Gave it a good bid.
Here's where Alex landed.
Alex just a little left. Curled up nicely though.
Nice birdie for Joe.
That's Joe's fourth in a row.
Anthony for the par.
Anthony knocks down his comeback. It's like Jerome is going to knock down his birdie. Jack will top in his birdie. And Alex will get his par. Hole 12, straight shot right down the middle, or you can go up the left side and try and crash down through the trees. Right side is going to be the no-no land just because there's too much tree coverage, and you'd have to get really lucky versus there being an actual line. Most players will probably just go right down the middle, but again, right hand forehand or left hand backhand might get advantageous and go towards the skies. Jack is going to elect for the turnover straight up the middle, but unfortunately catches a Russian olive and heads towards the OB area. Looks like he might have stuck, so he should be still safe.
Yeah, he was right there on the bank, so he is safe. Now, Joe, I believe he grabbed his rock here. He's going to go straight up the middle.
Joe's is up the middle, a little bit lower, and catches behind the tree. It's going to be a difficult birdie shot there.
Yeah, a little awkward.
Jerome looks to be aiming towards the upper left, taking the crash through.
Go for that forehand.
And he's playing lawn darts, probably 4 feet away from the basket.
So close.
Anthony appears to be doing the same.
Yeah, but he sees that. He's like, all right, bet I can do this.
Goes up. And he comes down. A little bit further away than Jerome, but should have a putt.
He'll have a look at it. Alex, of course, forehand.
Alex again, also going for the sky high. Catches some trees, point goes down, and that's going to be an unfortunate lie. So Jack from the knees, not a whole lot to work with there. Threads it through.
Good out.
Joe gives it a bit. Little wide right. What makes these trees even more uncomfortable is that they're the Russian olives that have the spines on them, so you can't get in there too deep or get too comfortable in there. It just scratches you all up.
Yeah, they had about 2-inch spikes, thorns. They were not pleasant.
Anthony with the big putt takes down the bird.
Just another day for this man.
Jack cleans up his par.
Alex for the same, for his par.
Good shot by Alex. Jerome knocks in the easy bird,
Drop in birdie.
and Joe will take his par. Moving on to the last hole of the front nines, hole 13, 318 feet, par 3. Left side is where you're going to really be drawing dead, so you don't want to go into that area. Right side is a little bit blocked, but it's also got some pads. Best shot is just to go straight up the middle again. Right hand's probably going to be just kind of a slight turn and then let it fade back into the green.
Joe and Anthony just watching DGN or something on this backup.
Yeah, I asked him. They were watching DGN live coverage.
Jerome pretty much throwing it the way you want to throw it. Just slight right and then fade back in close to straight as possible. like Anthony was trying to do a flip up. And
Snuck through.
out the same spot as Jerome.
Now here's Jack.
Jack testing that right side, finds the gap, and ends up in 10's fairway, 11's fairway.
Well out wide, but he's got to look at the basket.
Joe hits the ground, gets a little bit of ground play, comes up, looks like 20-something short. Alex also testing that right side.
Fight through. Somehow. Hey.
Looks like he got some friendly kicks.
That was a hex, and it went all the way through the trees.
Great shot.
Somehow.
Jack for his bird. Up and to the left a little.
And Joe for his birdie.
Joe knocks down the birdie putt.
There's Jack for his par.
Jack for the par. Alex lining up for his birdie after that fortunate kick off the trees. And he knocks it down. Anthony for his birdie putt, and Jerome coming to his birdie putt. And there he goes.
There it is. All right. That was the end of the front nine. Joe is in the lead at 17 down. You got Jack and Jerome at 14 down, Alex at 12, and Anthony at 8 down. I want to thank you for watching. This has been Arctic Cats. We will catch you on the back nine where we wrap up Aviary Fools.